Hello everyone, welcome back to another video. So make sure I'm visible and audible, right? So in this video we are discussing about data type. Okay, what is this? What is this? What is this? Okay. So basically in this video I'm talking about data type. Okay, data type in C++. Okay, so in basically in our previous video I have already discussed the basics of C++ and all. Okay, so basically in this video we are talking about data types. So first thing first, if you don't know what is data type is, so um, so yeah, I have to visit that website because yeah, you also can visit this website because a lot of content are there for study purposes. This is the one of the best website I would recommend to everybody. The second one that I recommend is free code camp data data type in C++ language. Okay, so also you can visit that website as well. So here, but uh, but I what I prefer is GFG. Okay, I prefer GFG over free code camp. Even if you will get a tutorial also, you will get tutorial here as well. But if you're beginner, so I don't recommend to go free code camp directly, but yeah, you can also check it out as well. Okay, so I'll also create, I'll also create a different video for that, like the best website for this stuff. I mean, for the different purposes, I'll upload the video. I'll upload a curated video for that as well. But here we are talking about the data type in C++. So yeah, let's discuss the topic. Okay, not to distract any other way. Okay, so I would also recommend this website to go and you can see a lot of content over there. But what I think is, what I realize is when I visit this website, I didn't get, it's not friendly. It doesn't seem friendly. So for me, I don't prefer it. I prefer this one because the visualization and each stuff I like about the GFG platform. So I'd highly recommend to go and yeah, watch no such promotions I'm doing right now. Okay, so don't worry. So here we are talking the data type in C++. So basically, what data type is exactly? So basically, in my definition, I give my own definition like what data type what? Whatever the data input, what the type of this data is called the data type, right? This is genuine definition that I'm giving you, but also you can read the definition from here like data type specify the type of data that a variable can store. For example, we have just created a variable. So I'll also show you. Okay, I'll also show you while writing the code somehow. Um, C++ compiler. Okay, I'm just going to open any online compiler rather on going to the VS Code. I prefer this website. Okay, so yeah, here it is. So one thing, first I clear it. Okay, so in our previous video I have discussed about mm, the basic syntax. Okay, I have already discussed about the basic syntax of, so yeah, this is the basic syntax of C++ language. So basically what you need to do, you need to simply go any browser, like I am using Chrome. Yeah, Chrome, Google Chrome. Okay, simply go here and search here what you need to search. If you don't have even installed the any code editor like VS Code and all, so you simply go to the web browser. On the search bar you need to simply search C++ online online com compiler. Okay, You need to search it simply, and yeah, you'll get a lot of you'll get a lot of website. Yeah, whatever you'll get on the first one, you can search, and yeah, you can go over there and you can you write your own code. But the cons is like you can't save the code. Okay, like what happened in the VS Code, you can save your own code. Like if you, I see you, like mm, this is VS Code. Okay, so I'm just opening you to showcase. So basically, this is my file. This is VS Code. Okay, it's a little bit slow, so don't mind it anymore. So basically, this is my code. I have written push operation in C++, pop operation C++. So basically, like I just suppose okay, what happened? Okay, what comes? Okay, not here. I want to write down over here. So basically, I have created any character. So what I need to do, I simply cut it. Okay, I close this window. Okay, here you can see this. It's not opened anymore. Okay, when I click to this, what happened is, let's see what happened. Okay, it's already saved our code. So, so this is the good thing about the VS Code. So why I prefer to use, why not? I actually moreover the programmer will prefer to use VS Code rather than using any online compiler, because in the VS Code you can save your own code. Okay, so also you can push your own code over GitHub. Okay, so this is stuff I'll talk in later on videos, but here I prefer to use VS Code over any other over any compiler. So how to install VS Code, I'll also make the video over it, and also you can go on the YouTube and watch the tutorial as well. So let's come to the topic. No, this is where was up. Okay, that was the. So this is the you can say also boilerplate. What is this? What is this happening? Okay, so this is comment. We'll discuss. This is comment only right now. Here we are talking about the data type. Okay, so whatever the data we insert in found the variable, whatever the variable, whatever the data variable can store, like int I equal 10. Okay, so that, so I is storing the 10 value here. Okay, and the data type of I is integer value. Okay, so this is what data type is. Let me check it. Is everything going fine? Yeah, it's been going fine. So so basically, whatever the data we insert in our in the form of the variable that can store, called the data type. Whenever a variable is defined in C++, the compiler allocates memory for the variable based on the data type. Like whatever the your data type is, based on this, your memory will allocate the spaces for that stuff. Okay, which with which is declared. Please note that every may require a different amount of memory. So I mean, each data type have the different memory. Okay, because they having storing less and more number of bytes. Like their storage is different because their range is different. Okay, range means how many characters they can store. This is called the range. Okay, we'll discuss. Let's discuss first. So data type in C++, we have three type of data type: basic, derived, and user defined. So for that, you must have you must have heard about the C, if you're familiar with C. But if you're not, then don't worry at all. So we have integer, float, double, char, bool, void, array, pointer, reference, function, class, structure, union, type, def, using. Mostly we use this, but this is also important in the mm, in this, if I talk about the DSA, yeah. So that's why it's important. Class user defined data type it's also important, but it's the less important, I'd say. People Mostly people use this, both not that. But you should know about this one also, user defined data type as well. Okay. So basically below is an example of integer data type is given. Integer var. So I have already included a stream. So in this header file, input and output stream is input and output function are stored. Okay. If you want to use it, like I am using cout function here. Okay. So I have to, you know, I have to de- define that preprocessor directive. Okay. Hmm? And then we have using namespace standard. Okay. Int main creating a variable to store integer int var 10 cout var return 0. So basically it's a variable. We have named it as a where you can give any other name as per your choice, right? So yeah. So output is 10 because yeah, it's storing 10 value. Okay. So whenever we write var here, it will give the 10. Okay. In the above code, we needed to throw the value 10 in our program. So we created a variable var. But before where we used to the keyword int, because I have already discussed like what is it is which type language. Yeah, it is statically type language, so we should need to use the data type before its declaration. Okay, this keyword is used to define that the variable where will store data of type integer type of data it is. Okay. The C++ standard does not specify the exact memory size of the data type in float and text, etc. Their size may depending on the compiler and system architecture. Like people also say which compiler you are using, depending on the compiler. Okay. If you are using any, old version, so it might be 32 bit and even less than that. Okay. So it totally depend on compiler and system architecture. Okay, the size mentioned in the article are commonly many modern. Yeah, mostly we use 64-bit system, but may differ for the other platforms. So first thing, it might different from if you are using 32-bit system, so it might differ from the 64-bit system. Okay, like it totally depends on which compiler you are using and what's your system architecture is. Okay, totally depend on it. So let's see how to use some primitive data type. What primitive data type? Yeah, int, char, double, bool, float. Okay, so basically where we are, here we are. So character data type, that means the character data type is used to show a single character as per its clear from its name, character. I'm just telling you the story right now so that you can, learn this data type for a long time, like how we can represent it. So first thing first, people even ask you about your character. Your character is good. I mean, the personality. If you build your own personality, so then you might then your character might be different from other ones. Okay, so that means you have some potential. So here, what refers potential refers this single braces. Okay, single. No, it's not quote. Single quote. So characters are written within the single quotes. If you use double quotes, then it becomes a string. It's not character anymore. Okay. So the keyword word to define a character is char. It is typically size of 1 byte, but it stores characters enclosed in single quotes. It can generally store up to 256 character according to ASCII code. Okay, so also it uses Unicode as well. But character only store ASCII code. Okay, character only store ASCII code. You can see the syntax also. C is a like any variable for character that defines your character. And then we have integer, and then we have boolean, then we have float, then we have double, then we have void, then we have conversion also. So we'll discussing a lot in this video. Okay, then we are data type modifier. Okay. So I think till now it's very well clear. Okay. We are talking about the data types right now. Character data type, integer. For the integer, you simply write int. Okay, and the range you can see over here. For the boolean ones, you need to simply write down the bool keyword. Okay, that bool show you that its data type is boolean. Okay, and then we have floating point data type. Floating point data types are nothing decimal numbers. Okay, decimal values. Same as we have double as well, but in the double ranges might increases. They have ranges. You can see this. The range is bigger than the double ones. Okay, it can store up to 12 digit. Up to 12 digit after decimal. What float does? It store 6 digit by default. I'm talking by default. If you give a single digit, it also store, but by default it is stored. Like suppose this is a decimal, right? So after decimal it will store 6 character. Double can store after the decimal, like this is the decimal, so 12 character. So I don't think so it's a 12 character, but it's the maximum capacity I'm talking. Okay, it can store up to 12 character after decimal. Okay, void data. Void data type represent the absence of value. We cannot create a variable of void type because void return nothing. I have already told you this is the return type. For example, if I avoid this, here you write your function name. Okay, function name without any white spaces. We don't need to give any spaces between data type. You can use underscore as well without any spaces. Then you use this parenthesis. Inside your parenthesis you write the parameter. Okay, so right now I'm telling you how exactly you can create your own function, right? I'm not telling you what is the void data type is. I'm telling you how you can create your own function. Okay, the syntax of creating any function basically. So here it is talking, let's discuss void data type also. Void is also data type because whenever we create a function and it is returning null, it is returning a null value or it is returning nothing, right? We basically use void before our function name. Okay, so if we are using void, that means void is also a data type because its return type is void. Okay, like we usually write, okay, int char, no, int num equal any number like 1 2 3. Okay, int num equal 1 2 3. Okay, then that means this integer is storing 1 2 3. Okay, yeah. But when we write void num1 2 3, then we don't need to return 0. We don't need to write return 0. In syntax is not given here, but I'll also say you are writing the syntax as well, that it return nothing. A return type is 0 if you use void data type. Okay, so void data type represents the absence of value. We cannot create a variable of void type. It is used for pointer. It is used for pointer functions that do not return any value using the keyword void. Okay, whenever we discuss about the pointer and function, we'll discuss about why they're not returning anything. But in general, you don't need to write down returns 0 when you are using the void return type. Okay. And then we have type safety in C++. C++ is a strongly or statically typed language. It means all the variable data types should be specified at the declaration and is not changed throughout the program. Moreover, we can only assign the value that are of the same types as the variable. That means you can't redeclare. You can't redeclare the variable. It's a talking that you can't redeclare the variable. If we try to assign floating point value to a boolean number, it may result in data corruption, runtime error, or undefined behavior. Okay. So we basically write down this as a tax, assign float value to is true. So bool we have this value, float. Okay. In the bool, what happened is if you give any value, if you write 0, it'll give you false, otherwise true. If any non-zero value if entered inside the variable which data type is bool, it will return true. Always it will return true. True means 1, false means 0. Okay. So since we have 1.10.248 float, okay, it will return 1 because you have any value. If you don't have any value, then return false, otherwise return true. Okay. As we see, the floating point number is not stored in the bool variable, it just stored once. This type checking is not only done by fundamental types, but for all types, data types to ensure valid operations and no data is corruption. This is the different step. We'll talk later on in this step. Data type conversion. So data type conversion we'll discuss later on videos. I also didn't write the code for the same stuff. Video, the code of these all data types is in the description. I'll attach the code in the description. Okay. So yeah, that's all in this video. In the next video, we'll discuss about the type conversion. Like if you have any integer values, how you can convert it into the float, into the bool, in any other data type as well. So this is called a type conversion. Basically, in the type conversion, you convert the data type of any value into the other data type. Okay. So later on, we'll discuss about this stuff. So that's all in this video. So yeah. See you in the next. Bye.